On this edition of City Profile, we'll be talking with Mayor Bill Paxton about the state of the city. Please stay with us. Hello and welcome to City Profile. I am Tom Butler, and after a long absence, I'm back with one of my favorite people, Mayor Bill Paxton. Welcome back, Mayor, and welcome back to me, I guess.
Thank you, Tom. It's number one, good to be back, and number two, it's good to have you back. We've missed you.
Thanks. I have missed being here. For those of you who don't know, had a little biking accident in September and have been off work since then, and now I'm back and ready to go and see what's going on, and glad to have you here with us today. We're here today because this is one of our annual events. You and the County Judge Executive give a state of the community, and you specifically give a state of the city address every year. You do that for the chamber, and then you come in here so that everybody who is not able to go to that meeting can get an idea of where we are in the city, what's going on, how's our economic development plans, and this is a unique one because this is the last state of the city that you'll be giving.
That is right, Tom. 1st of January, I gave my state of the community, and the judge and I together, and it was the last one I'll give. Next year there'll be a new mayor, and he or she will be given that state of the community, and so I tried to talk about what I wanted to concentrate on the remaining year that I have in office, and talk about the successes that we've had.
And we've had quite a few, looking through the items that we're going to talk about today, but there's challenges as well. Yeah. And the first one of the challenges and successes, I guess you could call it, the Convention Center. Mm-hmm.
Convention Center has been, it's a beautiful facility now, Tom, both on the inside and the outside. If you drive by there and you see the area that was connected to the hotel and you see how attractive that is, it's really a wonderful building. And the inside, we spent $5 million on it, renovating it. So it's up and running. We had an unfortunate situation that I think all of our viewers know about. Put us behind the 8 ball on our financing. We have resolved that. We've got all the bills current, and we've got business. People are beginning to use the convention center. So the next thing we've got to do, Tom, is to find a hotel, to build a hotel next to that convention center and start bringing conventions back in here. And I think this will be a wonderful asset for Paducah, for downtown, for the county, for everybody.
When we talked last time, you kind of hinted that there might be some interest in somebody building. Is there still any interest that you can tell us about?
Well, we have narrowed it down to one group, and I can't tell you who they are, but they are definitely interested. We are working on coming up with the cost estimates on what a new hotel would cost. They are working with a construction company to come up with that number. So we hope that within the next 30 or 45 days, we're going to know whether this deal is doable or whether it's not doable. But we feel pretty positive about it at this time.
It seems like that would be a huge benefit for downtown. I mean, there's really not any place like that, like the old Executive Inn, for people to come, and especially for the quilt show.
Well, for the quilt show, Tom, but for conventions that are going to bring 500 people in here, 5,000 people in here, 2,000 people, those people come in. And sure, they are around the convention center and the hotel, but they also go out. They go to downtown. They go to the mall. A lot of these people are going to be staying at other hotels in the area because this hotel will only probably have somewhere around 150 rooms. So they're not going to be able to handle everybody. So it'll be a boom to the entire community. And it's something that not many communities of our size have, and I think it will be a real positive.
Hope so. I really have been looking forward to hearing some kind of announcement like that for some time now. One of the challenges that you've dealt with during your administration is the future of the gaseous diffusion plant, and that remains to be a challenge, as reported recently. The future is in a state of change and flux, as it has been for probably 10 years, but now we have new information. What's going on in that direction?
Well, I mean, we knew that someday that plant was going to close. The plan is there's new technology, Tom, that is much cheaper to operate, called the centrifuge technology. So we knew that plant was going to close. Our goal with the leaders in Paducah in McCracken County was to keep that plant open as long as possible. 1,200 jobs are good paying jobs. So the good news is there's a lot of good people working on this, from Senator McConnell and Congressman Whitfield to Senator Paul to city and county to the Chamber of Commerce, GPEDC. The bad news is it's going to be difficult. The worst case scenario is May or June of this year, that plant could be closing down. A better story would be that we're able to keep it open another 1 to 2 to 3 years. And so the verdict's still out. We're working hard at it, but it is definitely something that is going to come our way, and it's going to be a real difficult situation for our community.
Is it true that there will still be some clean operations going on there for
Oh, yeah.
time?
Yeah, right now, Tom, we have 1,200 people operating the plant, and we have another 400 people doing cleanup. And then we have another 125 people operating the DUF6 plant that's out there. Those 400 in the DUF6 plant will continue for the foreseeable future, probably another 10 years or so. But the 1,200 jobs in that facility will go away at some point. And anytime a community loses 1,200 jobs, it's going to have a devastating effect on the community.
And a ripple effect as well, because they're a huge, buyer of electricity and things like that from other places.
It'll affect TVA and their plant here. So it's not a good situation. We've had a wonderful relationship with that company with the enriched uranium plant for 60 years. It has made Paducah what it is today. But that's going to be coming to an end, and we hope it's farther out than sooner.
Later rather than sooner.
Right.
All right, then let's talk about a little bit more positive news. There are some facilities that are under construction now that are going to be providing some jobs for those people who may lose theirs at the plant.
Well, that's right. We have the office building that is being built, orthopedic clinic that's out across from this campus here. This building is going to employ 100 people. P&L is expanding. Paducah and Louisville Railroad is expanding in Paducah and moving their headquarters to downtown Paducah. And then you've got the Paducah Middle School that's getting ready to start construction, and that'll be employing a couple hundred people. So we are working hard, Tom, at obviously the medical community is huge for Paducah, a big employer. The railroads, the barge companies. So we're continuing to try to bring new jobs into this community. So when that USEC plant does leave, that we've got other jobs to offset that.
Speaking of the medical community, I've been seeing some news reports about one of the hospitals updating their equipment, doing some new rooms and stuff like that, and there's always seems to be doctors' offices going up in places all over town.
Well, all you've got to do is drive out Pecan Buckner towards the mall, Strawberry Hill, and you see about 4 new doctors' offices going up. Well, those doctors' offices employ anywhere from 25 to 100 people. They're good paying jobs. And so as the medical community grows, that can only be a positive for Paducah-McCracken County.
Two of the things that you have focused on during your administration, from my perspective, economic development has always been number one. But then quality of life issues has always been a concern of yours. And I know that there have been many projects going on during your administration. What specifically has been going on in the last year, and what do you see going on into the future?
Well, you're right, Tom. I think that, and as I've said here many, many times, that the two most important things that I can do to push Paducah forward is to push economic development, and which will bring the jobs here, but then have a quality of life to where people can come and enjoy themselves and have something to do. At the current time, we're trying to complete the Greenway Trail and take that all the way downtown to give people a nice trail to ride their bikes and walk and things like that. We hope that'll happen here in the next few months. We're going to build a dog park for the animals that are in Paducah.
I heard about the dog park.
And so that's coming along.
Do you have a location for that yet?
Yeah, right now we're looking at Stuart Nelson Park, and we think it's a perfect location. We have made a challenge that on what the dog park's going to cost, and we've let the public know that if they can come up with half, that we'll come up with half. And I think we're close to being there, so hopefully we can start construction in the following few months.
That'd be cool.
The new pool, the Noble Park pool, is having some major work done on it. But that pool is used by an awful lot of people during the summer. So we're working hard to build new quality of life venues and to improve the venues that we currently have.
What do you see going on? You see any other projects like that? I know we've had the skating rink in the past. Do you have any new ideas that are in
Well, I guess you can say the Riverfront is one of those. And as you know, we've been fighting the environmental people over the mussels that are located in the river at the foot of Broadway. We have agreed to move that footprint of that Riverfront project 500 feet towards the convention center. The environmental people now say that they think we're going to be able to start construction. We're still holding on to the $10 million that Senator McConnell gave us of federal money. And we hope to start on that phase, if not 12, sometime in 13.
You know, that's an interesting story that we were talking about before. Is, you know, we had this good project started. It was essentially stopped by environmental concerns over a type of mussel. You spent a lot of money to try and resolve it, and then the resolution was move it 500 feet.
Yeah. Well, I give, first of all, it seems to me, Tom, that we're putting more emphasis on mussels than we are on the human race, that we're trying to build a better life for and give them opportunities to enjoy themselves. So that's one issue. But what you mentioned, our new city manager, Jeff Peterson, had some new eyes that he put on that, and he said, listen guys, why don't we just move the footprint 500 feet and see what happens? Well, nobody had thought of that, and so it looks like it's going to work. We're not there yet, but we're getting there.
That'd be good if you could do that and not have to harvest everything and move them. And I mean, it just seems like the other solutions are not great.
The other thing, Tom, that is a economic development issue and a quality of life issue, in my opinion, is merged government. And we know that merged government is going to be talked about over the next few months. Hopefully it'll be on the ballot in November. And I personally feel like by merging the city and county and having a more efficient government, we will be able to battle and fight the closures of the USEC plant and the other battles that we have. We'll be able to handle those more efficiently as merged government as opposed to separate government. So I've been supporting that. I know the public is being educated on this and will be over the next few months. And hopefully people will look at it and not necessarily say, well, is it going to be good for me? But they'll say, is it going to be good for the community? And is it going to help us grow and be more prosperous in the future? And my answer to that is yes. And so we'll see where that goes. And but that's one of the things I intend to work hard on during the months that I have left as mayor.
How does that get on the ballot?
Well, you can just request for it to be on the ballot, the county judge, who is chairman of this merged government, they're going to see how the questions go and how the interest goes from these meetings that are going to take place at all the schools around the county. And if everything goes the way they think, they will put it on the ballot, and the people will vote on whether to support merged government or not.
We're talking before, and you know, I think that, as you mentioned, education is going to be the key to winning this vote, because a lot of times people in the county don't see a benefit, and although that may be selfish, sometimes people vote their pocketbook. Yeah. You know, and we're coming up to a presidential election, and people are going to have to ask themselves the question, am I better off now than I was then? And that brings me to just an interesting question for me, and I'll let you analyze your own administration. Are people better off now than when you came into office?
Well, Tom, I think so. We have worked hard to build, keep our infrastructure up, build roads, repair roads, curbs and gutters, sidewalks, skateboard park, a greenway trail. We have worked hard to try to make Paducah a clean community with a good infrastructure. We have, I guess I will say that economic development has been much more difficult than I thought it would be when I came into office. You've got 3,700 other communities that are trying to bring jobs into their community. So the competition is fierce. But we're beginning to make headway on that. Chad Chancellor, our new director, is doing a great job. We have a couple of strong prospects. We have done well over the last few years in the river industry and in expansion of Ingram and Marquette and AEP and all of these barge companies that are employing hundreds and hundreds of people. P&L is just getting ready to expand. They are buying other midline railroads and they're moving into a new headquarters in downtown Paducah. So we have done well in economic development, but I will admit we could have done better. So, but I think Paducah is stronger. Our tax base is stronger. We have spent money wisely, and I would say, yes, the people of Paducah are better off today than they were when I came in.
One of the things that you talked about in your presentation to the chamber, and this might get glossed over a little bit because people don't really understand these ratings, but Paducah has a favorable bond rating, and that means, if I understand it correctly, that if you need money, you can borrow it at a better rate, which makes it easier to pay back. And the higher the rating, the better off you are in the eyes of people who give that money or lend that money.
The better run city you are, with a good, secure tax base, then the higher rating you're going to be. They base it on management, on revenue. And our bond rating, where the United States bond rating has gone down, ours has actually gone up 2 percentage points. Now, because of that bond rating, we were able, Tom, to refinance some bonds that we had, lower the interest rate, and we've saved the taxpayers of Paducah $1,600,000 over the life of those bonds. So by having an efficient government and making good decisions on that, you can help yourself save money going
Governments
forward.
all over the country are getting their bond ratings downgraded. I believe
Yeah.
Chicago is, or Illinois is worse than California now
Yeah.
because of the excessive debt and things that they carry. And Paducah doesn't really have that kind of debt, does it?
We don't. We've kept our debt down. We have balanced our budget every single year. We have spent our money wisely, again, on things that will benefit Paducah, make Paducah better. And so we have good people. Jonathan Perkins, our finance director, has got many, many years of experience. He's a top-notch finance guy. We listen to him, and he has kept us out of trouble.
And that's a big deal. Moving on to another big issue of 2011, you had several sleepless nights, I imagine, over what to do with the Executive Inn.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
Tom, I started working on how to improve the Executive Inn from the first day I went into office. And it has been a nightmare, so to speak. But without rehashing all of that, the facts of the matter are that the Executive Inn has been demolished. We've got a beautiful area down there where the Executive Inn was. The convention center, as I said earlier, is a beautiful facility. And we don't know what's going to go where the Executive Inn was. It could be a combination of green space with condominiums. There could be a hotel there, or the hotel could be located somewhere else close to the convention center. So we don't know yet, but we're better off having that hotel demolished. And we were able to do it for about $800,000 less than what we thought. So financially, it was a good move. So yeah, we're happy to have that down.
Good. And hopefully there will be something, beneficial that will move in there. It seems to make sense if a hotel would move in, but I know there's, all kinds of issues being on the inside of the flood wall and things like that.
That's
Speaking of the flood wall,
right.
we had a little water in 2011.
We did, and I show that as one of our successes is getting through that flood. It was a serious flood. Water was almost as high as it was during the 37 flood. And that goes back, Tom, to our people, whether it be Rick Murphy and his flood wall people or the people that put up the floodgates. But the community came together, and we built a flood wall a flood berm to protect the convention center, and we were successful at that. If water had gotten into that convention center, it would have cost us dearly. So we avoided that. We kept water out of the streets, out of the buildings, out of the homes. And so we all came together, and I think that was one of the successes because it was a major catastrophe, and a lot of communities did not do nearly as well as we did. So I was very pleased with that.
Well, obviously the flood wall was deemed a good investment at that point for the city.
The Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard used Paducah as their poster child for flood walls. We have kept that flood wall maintained properly. We've kept the turbines operating correctly to pump the water out. We've taken good care of the floodgates. So even though that facility was built in the late 30s and early 40s, it is operating wonderfully. We are constantly making improvements to it, but we're very pleased with how that flood wall operated.
In the last few minutes of the program, one of the signs of success are awards, and the city has been fortunate in that area.
We have. I mean, a city does not get awards unless they deserve it. And when I say the city, I'm talking about the chamber being named Chamber of the Year. I'm thinking about West Kentucky Community Technical College being named one of the 5 best colleges in the country. I'm talking about one of the best places to retire. I'm talking about an award that said we're one of the best communities for young people to come in. One of the dozen distinctive destinations for people to come. We have a lot of people have worked hard. We're doing all the right things, and we think that these awards will help us in attracting jobs and being better successful at economic development.
Certainly give us some recognition in the national press that we have gotten some of those awards, and people might think, hey, that's not a bad place to look at. And I mean, we still have 2 projects going on. We don't have much time. Lower Town's you always have an eye on that, and now the Fountain Avenue project seems to be really taking off with new families, new people moving in that area. So, in the last 2 minutes, does the city have any other plans in that area?
Well, obviously the new art school located in Lower Town is going to be huge with the West Kentucky Community College handling that. We've got a beautiful campus laid out on how that art school will look. We hope that we have turned the corner and new artists will start moving back in here and opening new studios. Fountain Avenue is going great. We're hoping that that will attract retirees, baby boomers that will want to come to a place where they can buy something and their cost of living will be low. So we're excited about that. We're going to continue to do things like that. We're going to continue to work on new sidewalks. We're trying to build a better road through Olivet Church, going out to our industrial park and going through the mall. We're working hard with Cafaro to try to attract a Target here to give us better shopping. So over the next 11 and a half months, Tom, that I have in office, I'm going to work with the commission to try to continue to move Paducah forward. It's been a great 11 years as mayor, soon to be 12. I've loved it, loved every minute of it, and I hope that people will continue to volunteer on the different boards that we have. I hope people will continue to step up and run for public office. You've got to have that if you're going to continue to have a strong community.
Well, Mayor, I guess my assessment of your report today is that as of today, the state of the city is good, and that is a tribute to you, your administration, and the people that work in the city of Paducah. And I'd like to thank you again for coming and sharing with us today, and I'd like to thank you for watching us on this edition of City Profile. Join us again next time. I'm Tom Butler.